Welcome into the Rob, Comrade, and Cale show. There you go. I didn't mess it up. Podcast that divides the Palmetto State. I am Rob Sanders, your host. I represent the Clemson Tigers on this podcast. Winners of 2 of the last 4 national championships. I'm a very upset gentleman tonight as my Green Bay Packers are getting their, what's the comrades say? Kicked in the dick. But still support my Packers regardless, but they're losing right now. I do have 2 co-hosts because, hey, why not? We'll start with the man that was upset with Frank Martin and now is feeling a lot better. He is the comrade, Mike Zabreski. Mike, good evening, sir.
It is great to be here. The Gamecock basketball team they appeared. I want to get ahead of myself now. They have appeared to turn the corner. They have appeared to start playing like we thought they could play. A.J. Lawson's still not great, but a big win yesterday. I know it's A&M's horrible. It's a road win. It's a road win, though, after a big win. So we'll see what happens. For right now, some hope, some optimism that maybe the Gamecock men's basketball can get it going. Of course, Dawn Staley and the ladies got it going right now. Big game tomorrow night for them against the old Mississippi State Bulldogs, and that big rivalry right there. Looking forward to that game. And, of course, we're getting close to baseball season. Gamecock baseball, look out. JUCO City, baby. JUCO City.
Yeah, I want to talk about that later on. And normally we say stuff to trigger each other here, but I have an actual valid question on that. We do have the third leg in this 3-legged monster. Is the man from the upstate. He is a bald man, but don't hold that against him. He's also the head of the Carolina Jackpot channel. He is, of course, Cale Hall. Cale, hello.
Great to be here. Great to be Gamecock, and forward to a great show tonight.
Cale, for those who are listening, you can see it on the video here. Tell us about your T-shirt. Cale's got a special T-shirt on tonight.
Yeah, if you've you get it around here. My T-shirt reads ARN.0. Seeing if your balls are as big as your mouth since 1982. Comes from the enforcer of the 4 Horsemen, Arn Anderson, who's got a podcast now that drops every Tuesday morning, and the podcast is just titled Arn, I believe. Is that right? So he has a bit of a beef with Daniel Tosh of Tosh.0. He's got the show over on the Comedy Channel, who's been making fun of Arn since like 2010 on his show. And finally, Arn delivered like a little promo, a little challenge to Tosh a couple of months ago to meet him out in Hollywood. And he said, let's see if your balls are as big as your mouth, Tosh, when Arn threatened him with the spine buster. Still no response on that. All right. But anyway, they came up with this cool shirt, and I ordered it right off the podcast, the ProWrestlingTees.com website. So
very cool
stuff
shirt. There. Everything that you've said, though, the only thing that Comrade understood was Tosh 2.0. He has no clue who the hell Arn Anderson is.
He's one of the 4 Horsemen, right? With the
you don't know anything about Arn Anderson.
I know Hulk Hogan. I know Sergeant Slaughter, who, by the way, who was in is a Frank Martin friend apparently.
By the way, I gotta say something about this. I told Cale this. Sergeant Slaughter now follows me on Twitter. I'm very proud of that.
That's pretty good. That's not bad.
That's pretty cool. Anyway, so we got a lot of stuff we're going to get into this evening. Thank you guys for checking out the show. Let's start with thanking the sponsors for the show. We'll start with Callaway's Bar and Grill out in West Columbia. You can go by there and get yourself some lunch. The best place in Columbia to have some lunch, man. Scamper down there right across from the Walmart next to Sonic. Go by and have yourself some lunch. Great place to go. We also they also have like retro games, all kinds of pool tables. It's just really cool. Go to Callaway's Bar and Grill You can find them online at Callaway'sBarandGrill.com. Also, I want to thank our patrons, Lawton Swan of Clemson Sports Talk, the Czar of Clemson Sports, Thomas Dana Young, Keith Harrelson, Stacy Hamp, Jamie Phillips, Tabitha Sims, Robert Knight, Positive Mike, Lisa Sester Harkins, who's watching online, Jeff Pritchett, Christian Young, Nathan Medlin, and of course, Sally Donegan and Eddie Hicks, who does all of our t-shirts and stuff. He's actually redoing our graphics to add Cale to the mix here. So we appreciate Eddie for helping us out. We also have DNC Trucking and Transport, the No Spin Zone segment with the Comrade. Comrade, read away.
Hold on, am I there?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Every time it's the same thing with you.
This thing disconnects. All right. I'm going to read it as you wrote it. It makes no sense, but I'm going to read it as you wrote it.
Sure. I was busy with kids, but go ahead.
It sucks being a Gamecock. Clemson has won 6 straight against my piss poor team. I am the king of the hypocrites. I spoke of being pissed at the Gamecock basketball team. Now they are playing very well. I was upset with Frank Martin's team. Yet I still support Muschamp the failure. 4-0 is okay with me. I love it. Clemson is an elite program. They have won 29 in the last 30 games. I am mocked because I'm absolutely jealous of what they have. My team will never have that. Remember, it sucks big Gamecock. Go Tigers.
There you go. All facts from the Comrade. So there you go with that. We appreciate Dennis Wilson from DNC Trucking and Transport. By the way, Dennis was a happy guy earlier this week when Travis Etienne decided that he would come back to the draft. Johnny online says Carolina jackpot, which is Cale, of course. What do you think about Clemson's running back staying for his senior year? He is the number 1 running back this year coming out of college in everybody's draft. I don't know if he's number 1 or not. Pro Football Focus said he's number 1, but regardless, he's still a hell of a player. Cale, what do you think about him coming back?
I'm not surprised at all. In fact, I called that. I felt like if Clemson did not win the national championship game, that he would be convinced to come back by Dabo and friends to possibly go for another national championship, possibly get himself into New York, running for the Heisman Trophy. So nothing. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, he really is. And this year's running back class in that draft is pretty loaded with Swift and Jonathan Taylor and I think the kid from Ohio State, right? Is he?
Yep. Dobbins.
Yeah. So, yep. I mean, he could. Next year's running back class is probably not going to be as strong as this year's. So I'm sure he could definitely probably be the number 1 pick there with a good year if they give him the ball enough. They give him the ball enough. They didn't really give him the ball as much this year as. And I mean, he still racked up 1,600 yards or so on not minimal touches. So sky's the limit. Probably a good decision for him. He doesn't have a history of getting injured or anything, so I don't think he's really setting himself back there. So probably pretty good choice for Travis.
I thought he declared for the draft at halftime last Monday, which is why he never got the ball in the second half. But apparently he did not.
Actually, if you go back and look at the game, the play where they scored in the second half, he
did get the ball. Okay.
Watch. Yeah, he got plenty of touches.
Okay, I didn't think he got a lot of touches.
Try to be truthful because
I wasn't sure. Okay, thanks, sir. You know, 2 things. If he is coming back because he loves college and he wants to, win the Heisman, win a national title, and all that stuff, then good for him. That's great. Good decision. If he's coming back because he thinks somehow it will help his draft stock, then the people around him are either morons or they're doing it or they're lying to him. It will not help his draft stock to come back. I mean, it's first of all, running backs do not go real high in the draft to begin with. Secondly, he's putting on more mileage on the legs, which is going to hurt his draft stock in terms of NFL GMs. So it's not going to help him make more money coming back. It really isn't. And of course, you have the potential of getting hurt too. But if he's coming back with, hey, listen, he loves college. NFL will be there when he's done. He's got an insurance policy if he gets hurt, so he'll have money if something happens. then good for him. If he's coming back because someone told him, hey, man, come back one more year and really improve your draft stock, that person either dumb or they're lying to him, because that's not what you do. You don't improve your draft stock as a running back by coming back for your senior year. You just don't.
Well, my thing with this whole situation with ETN is that he said he wants to get his degree, and if that's really what he wants to do and that's what he's putting out there, that's kind of what we have to go with. But I normally don't agree with the Comrade on a good bit of things, but he's right about this. If someone told him you can improve your draft stock by coming back next year, they were absolutely lying to him. Absolutely lying. But if he wants to come back, hey, it's his life, it's his existence. Come back and do what you want to do. That's the big thing. I think it helped Clemson a lot on a couple of fronts, because I think everybody thought he was going, and I worry that are they going to have enough carries? And what I mean by that is that they've got the young man DeMarcus Bowman, the #1 running back out of Florida. It was like one of the top 3 running backs in the country, something like that. 5-star player. And if he comes in and he lights it up in the spring game or even in fall camp, which I don't think he's an early enrollee, but if he comes to fall camp and lights it up, what is Lynn J. Dixon going to do? You know, that's an important thing too. But I think he should have went. But if he wants to stay, it's his decision to stay. And there goes the Comrade. I don't know what the hell happened to the Comrade there. But Cale, do you think that he may not play as hard next year?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's a competitor. I think he'll. I don't see him slacking off. I don't see him not giving him as many touches. So I don't think you have a problem with that.
Well,
I don't. No. Never mind. I was going to say something, but
no, go ahead. It's fine. Say what you got to say.
No, I don't see him taking a clowny 2013 year.
Well, I don't think he would come back and not play hard. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. But then again, a lot of guys. What was the kid from Stanford, Bryce Love?
Yeah,
everybody loved him, and then all of a sudden, he went to shit his senior year. It just wasn't very.
He was hurt some too, I think.
Right? Yeah. I don't know. I hope he's got an insurance policy. I'm hearing he does, but then again, I've also been told that Jeff Scott leaving may help him on the front of he may get more carries because Tony Elliott likes to run the ball a little bit more. I don't know if that's true or not, but either way.
But didn't Jeff Scott have little to do with it? I mean, I heard Tony Elliott was the main guy calling the plays, correct?
I heard they worked together. I heard they worked together to devise the scheme, and once again, I don't sit in on those meetings, Mike. I'm not trying to be combative, but from what I'm told, I think that they work together. But I think Tony Elliott's the one that sends the plays down. But maybe they'll put more plays in for ETN to get the ball. I don't know. We'll see. Very interesting though. A couple of guys that did leave this week. T. Higgins, I think he should go. I think that's that was a good move for him. And AJ Terrell, somebody needed to grab him and shake him, because after the beatdown he took in the national championship game, I don't think that was a really good move for him. What do you think about that, Cale?
No, I think he probably should have come back for another year or season to get a little bit better. It didn't look good in the national championship game. Now, they were trying to defend some elite level talent, trying to defend that elite level talent. But I mean, he's going to be facing elite level talent every week now. So
yeah, we'll see how he goes with that.
Good luck to the young man.
I don't want to, I don't wish bad on any of these kids. I
didn't know. I didn't even know he was draft eligible. It just seems like he came in yesterday.
Austin says one game determines a guy's future. No, Austin's not following along here. What I mean by that is that is that the lasting image that you want? Is that getting your ass kicked in the national championship game, the last time you put on that Clemson Tigers uniform, or you got bent over like you were a high school whore? Is that what you want?
Wow, dear.
No.
Well, by the way, one game can make a difference. I give to you Jamarcus Russell. His last game was collegiate against a horrible Notre Dame team. He lit them up, and suddenly the NFL was all crazy about him, and his grape drank, and they drafted him high, and that turned out bad. So sometimes one game can make an impression when it's your last game doing that. So, I mean, I don't know. Listen, once again, I'm not going to go back and preach to the choir again. This is why I think the NFL and the NBA's draft is stupid. You don't have to enroll early. Let the NFL draft you and negotiate with you. And if you don't like it, you stay in school. This whole idea where they have to guess where they're going and have to rely on certain people. I mean, same with the ETN. Okay, maybe you don't declare, and then all of a sudden you get drafted in the first round, and they say, "Listen, here's the money we're going to offer you." And you say, "You know what? I think I might go ahead and leave, and I'll come back in my degree later on." Or maybe you say, "No, I'm sorry, I'm staying." But I hate the whole they're trying to figure out where they're going to go based on projections, and of course, a lot is determined still because you have to go to the whole combine, the pro day, and all that stuff too. And you could drop. And if AJ Terrell does drop, say he has an awful pro day, an awful combine, well, he can't come back, right? He can't. Oh, okay, I made a mistake. He's done and has to go and live with his decision. So that's the part I hate, though. So hopefully, it works out for the guys who are going and the guys who are staying. Hopefully, Travis Etienne. I hope he doesn't have a great year, but I hope he doesn't get hurt and he stays where he's supposed to go, projected wise, and has a good career. But that's the part of the draft I hate. I love how baseball does it. It's you can kind of negotiate your future.
One question from let's see here. What was it? Someone said, "Do you think LSU takes a drop back next year?" Well, they had seven guys leave for the draft.
They have like four. They lost like four. They're losing like 14 starters.
They can't move up. They're number one. That's like the whole thing when Chad Holbrook took over.
Yeah,
Game Pop goes, we took a step back. Well, he took over when we're number one in the country. He can't get better. It's not like his choices are stay the same or drop back. So yeah, they'll probably drop back a little bit.
I don't think they're going to win the national title next year. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I think they're going to drop back a little bit. Do you think Joe Burrow is going to do well in the pros? I don't know.
So much of it determines who drafts him.
Well, if he goes to Cincinnati or whatever team you support, it's probably a shithole.
Well, I mean, it depends what coach you get. I mean, if he goes to the Bengals. Listen, I mean, there's always that argument. My dad and I have this debate. Not really debate, but we have a debate that what if the Buffalo Bills had drafted Tom Brady? Would Tom Brady be Tom Brady, or would he be J.P. Lossman? Okay, and so you can sit there and say, well, and so, but he got drafted by a great organization. Okay. At the time, we didn't know it was a great organization. The Patriots Bill Belichick who just got there. He was a failure coach at Cleveland. But it turns out, great owner. I mean, he likes to go to Asian spas, but he's a good owner. Okay. Great coaches. And so you can say, so that's the argument. So I don't know. I like the way he plays. I like his style. I like to see him do well. I just hope for him, I hope the Bengals take Chase Young first. And he goes somewhere else that maybe has a little better organization to give him a chance to be really good.
Cale, you think he's going to be good in the pros? Would you draft him number one?
I don't know. I mean, he's got a lot of talent that showed off this year, but it just kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, he wasn't really hasn't done anything impressive until this year, so I don't know. Still kind of an unknown.
I agree on that. Johnny has another question. We'll take this from Facebook Live as well. He says, this summer, is the QB position wide open, or is it Ryan Helinski's team with the Gamecocks? Me personally, I think that Helinski's, and I'm not just saying this because people are thinking, well, Rob wears the orange paw on this show. Mike Bobo, your offensive coordinator, who Mike Dabreski has a man crush on.
Team Bobo.
Yeah, see? Look at that. Mike's pants just jumped a half inch when I said Bobo.
He likes using the fullback. I love guys who love using the fullback. Saying?
He's over there running his mouth about a fullback. He's going to have to mute this and tell Mama Dabreski we got to go to the room so you can rub my legs here in a minute. Just calm down. I won't say Bobo again. You already have 800 kids. You don't need any more.
I can't have any more. I've been clipped.
Anyway. Okay. But no, I think that with what Bobo said with his mechanics, it's really hard for a freshman quarterback to come in and be perfect anyway. I think his mechanics were shitty because the offensive line was shitty, and they put him in a position where he really couldn't succeed at a very high level. I also think that his mechanics were shitty because he was hurt a lot. So I think that has a good bit to do with it. I think if he gets healthy, I think he has all the tools to be a moderate SEC quarterback. I don't think Doty's going to come in and challenge him. What do you think, Cale?
I think it's his job to lose. Really, I mean, I agree with a lot with what you said. I think he got hurt early on in the season, and he never really recovered after that Alabama game and the Missouri game where he made a couple of mental mistakes, and then he gets injured there. He just didn't look like the same kid to me. It didn't help that the offensive play calling was shit either. So I think given being healthy, and if he can get a little bit better protection and some kind of if we can get somebody that will commit to running the fucking football,
Bobo. That's his calling card.
If somebody will commit to running the fucking football and not going out there and proving that we have to win every goddamn game by throwing the ball around the damn yard 30, 40 fucking times. Yeah, maybe he can succeed.
Well, once again, I don't know what my deal is that I'm agreeing with both of you. Normally we're supposed to be pissing each other off here, but if you look at what the San Francisco 49ers have done, where they went and got the best fullback in football, made him the highest paid fullback in football. And they basically said, we're just going to line up and run the football, which a lot of teams aren't doing right now. Maybe that's something South Carolina could do that would make them different, because not a lot of teams are lining up with a fullback like the 49ers are doing right now and just saying, you know what? Fuck you. We're going to run the ball. Stop us. Garoppolo's had a good season, but I mean, what did he throw? I got to look it up. He may have thrown 12 passes tonight, something like that. They make their living running the football. They put up 37 points on the Packers tonight as they win that game. But maybe that's something that you guys can do that would be different. You know what I'm saying, Mike? Does that make sense?
Yeah. He threw 8 passes tonight, Garoppolo, 6 for 8.
There was a stat that popped up at the first or the fourth quarter that he had not attempted a pass since 2 minutes and something remaining in the second quarter of the game. So it went for over a quarter and some change without throwing a pass.
Well, the Packers didn't give him the opportunity to, but they don't get cute. They just line up and run the fucking ball.
Well, I said before, the Gamecocks. The SEC before Spurrier, when Spurrier got in the league with Florida, okay, they were I formation, run the ball, okay, trying to be like the Bulldogs and Herschel Walker, and he spread it around and changed things up. Now the SEC and all college football is the whole spread it around, RPO, throw it around. I think you got to be different. I think you got to be, the Gamecocks are going to get the most talent in the league. Be different. Do something different that teams are prepared for. That they don't see, and so I'm I know I still I'm 85 years old, but I like the fullback. I like running the football. Nothing pisses me off more than a 3rd down and 1, and you're in shotgun. That just freaking drives me crazy. Okay, 3rd and 1 shotgun, you run the ball. We're going to start 5 yards back. Okay, not to get
So we just made it 3rd and 6.
Yeah, no, exactly. It drives me absolutely crazy. 3rd and 1, get up, put 2 tight ends in, put a fullback in, give it to the fullback sometimes, or give it to the tailback with the fullback leading. I mean, it's just it drives me crazy that this new trend. It's not just the Gamecocks. I mean, all teams do it, but the Gamecocks are who I watch all the time, and it just drives me absolutely crazy. I know I seem like I'm 80 years old, but just
it's not. Look, it's not an issue of being 80 years old. The team that's going to the fucking Super Bowl is doing the same thing.
Yeah, I know, but just but other teams do it, and they can succeed doing it that way. But it's like, why make it tougher? Why just make it simple? Okay, make it
Well, I can
put more hats on blockers than you have. So
I could tell you what some people would say, and Cale, I'll give you this too. The argument could be that South Carolina doesn't have the offensive line to run the ball. You think that's viable or not?
Who is that?
The argument could be made that South Carolina doesn't have the offensive line to run the ball. Me personally, I think it's more on the lines of, I think it's easier to run block than it is to pass block because you're pushing forward instead of basically playing on skis and moving backwards. I think if you line them up and tell them we're going to run a lot, they might be better.
Yeah. South Carolina's had some talent. They had some talent returning on the offensive line. They had some talent on the offensive line last year. I don't know what happened. But I mean, I'm with that. I mean, load it up, run the ball, toss sweep to the damn strong side of the field, and dare them stop it. I mean, these defenses are all spread out now because the offenses are all fucking spread out. So that's what they're preconditioned to stop now because everybody is running the same shit. Nobody. There's no the creativity is gone. The spread it out offense that Chip Kelly installed back in 2008, 2009, which was so innovative at the time, has now become vanilla and boring because everybody does it, but all the defenses are conditioned to stop that, so they're not going to be conditioned to stop a run-heavy offense like that with a fullback. When's the last time any some bitches ever tackled them, took on them fullback?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, an actual fullback, 250 pounds, like Mike Allstott.
Big Mike Allstott.
Yeah, people may not know who the hell Mike Allstott is. We're showing our age here.
They probably don't. I bet you they couldn't tell you where he went to college at.
Purdue.
Purdue.
Well, the thing is too, I think a lot of it is mentality. If one of the big things for the Gamecocks last year is like, what were they? Like, you couldn't what was their identity? They had none. Make your identity running the football. I think if you have that mentality, your line gets better. And secondly, how you help your line is you have a fullback. Okay, that helps your line. You have 2 tight ends in sometimes. I don't care if teams know we're running the football. Like there's this whole sense of trying to trick people. Let's try to trick what's I don't care. 2 tight, we're running the football. We're putting more hats on helmets than you can tackle. That's how you beat teams.
They're shit pussies. That's what they are. Pussies.
So I mean, I'm all for it. So I'm excited about it. You mocked me when we hired Bobo and he had the fullback coming from Colorado State. And you're gonna be excited about it. I am. Damn it, I am.
Yeah, I did. What are you talking about? I like the fact that he brought an actual fullback.
I'm just saying, but you made jokes on Facebook. Oh, it's gonna make Comrade's whole year now. I am excited. I am.
It should be.
I like it. I miss Stanley Pritchett back in the day. Stanley Pritchett was a great fullback.
Yep.
Well, I don't know if this whole Bobo thing is going to work or not, but what's that? What's that, Cale? Go ahead.
4.
Yeah.
I
great baseball
think he
player
might
too.
have actually been a tailback. I can't remember.
Yeah, he was kind of like a hybrid a little bit.
Yeah.
he was more fullback. I mean, he was more fullback when I was there back in, when I was, leading the scout team. He was the fullback, and Brandon Bennett was a tailback. And Stanley Pritchett came in.
Oh yeah,
he was a freshman. I was, and it was kind of awkward because DeBoer was the senior captain, and Stanley Pritchett was like so much better, even as a freshman. It was kind of like, why is DeBoer still playing? And it was kind of like, the elephant in the room.
This
why
guy
is he?
Get him the fuck.
You could tell. Yeah.
Brandon Bennett's from my hometown, Taylor, South Carolina.
He's a great dude.
Still holds the Greenville County all-time leading rushing record.
He's a great dude, and I'll tell you, when you're a freshman and you're a freshman scrub like I was, a lot of times, you kind of get the shaft from the veteran players, okay? And he was the best player on the team. I mean, the best player on the team by far, and he was the best guy for freshmen. Like every freshman he took under his wing, didn't matter if you were a scrub like I was or Stanley Pritchett. He was like, "How can I help you? What you need? Everything okay?" Always liked. I mean, that's a really good dude. And now his son, I think, is a senior in high school. I think
so.
Yeah, his son's pretty. I'm not sure how highly rated he is. I don't follow recruiting rankings, but apparently he's pretty decent. I'm not sure if he's if he's Power 5 decent or what he is, but I would take a chance on him from the Gamecocks just because of where he comes from and his family. I mean, he's got to be a good kid.
I never will forget the play. What was it? The first game of his junior year, and I think would that not have been your freshman year down there, Mike? When he went over the top against Georgia.
That was his senior year. That was my first. He was a senior that year.
No, that was 93.
Yeah, he was a senior, I believe.
No, he played in 94.
You sure?
Okay. Yeah. When we played the Taters, because when we played the Taters in Death Valley and beat them like 34-7. You remember him throwing the lateral on the opening kickoff of the second half?
I thought it was Reggie Richardson.
Did he throw that? I thought Richardson caught it, but
I thought he was done. I thought he was a senior that year. I thought he was a senior when I was a freshman. But that was my freshman year though. My first game as an actual Gamecock. Okay, I followed him a little bit my senior year in high school. My first game as a Gamecock, just rooting for him and like being all in, as they say, was at Georgia, between the hedges, coming behind wind, over the top. And I was thinking, man, this Gamecock stuff's pretty cool. I mean, we found ways to win. Not knowing that that's not exactly what they do. But like that was my first exposure to Gamecock football. And I was thinking, man, this is great, man. We're just winners, man. We find ways.
If anybody wants to go back, you can find the clip of that on YouTube, and that's under Larry Munson's calls from Georgia, and you can hear it. He on the radio. He's like, lay down, you guys. 10, 9, lay down, you guys, lay down. 10, and then he scores, and they're like, good. He's like, the great back leaps over the top and broke our hearts with 2 seconds left to play. We couldn't keep them on the ground long enough. And then there's a call on there. You listen to South Carolina's radio call on that Bob Fulton who called the touchdown. And after he says that the Gamecocks are going to get flagged 15 yards for unsportsmanlike. And what's it? Tommy Suggs in the back. He's like, who cares? Who cares? That was
a good, And so, that was cool. I was down. I did not dress that game because you actually have to be somewhere on the depth chart to dress on SEC games. But I drove down and got on the sidelines with my Gamecock sweatsuit they gave me and watched that. So, that was a pretty cool start to my Gamecock career life.
If you guys will listen, I've got the call here. You want to hear the call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
And Tannehill gives it to him. He dives, and we hit him and stop him short of the goal goal line. We tackle him on about the 1 or 2 foot line as Bennett leaps across the clock. 18, 17, 16. Lay down, you guys. 14, 13, 12. Lay down, 11, 10. South Carolina's going to try to get a play. Tannehill up to the line. Tannehill going to give it to Bennett, and we hit him. He scored on the last play of the game. Bennett, a great athlete, leaped over the pile and broke our hearts with 2 seconds to go. We couldn't keep him on the ground long enough.
There you go. Larry Munson with the call there. I remember watching that game. That was a hell of a game. It is funny though that Mike's like, yeah, we find a way to win.
We find a way, man.
Disappointed.
Gamecock heart.
Gamecock fan.
I was just thinking, hey man, this is how it is.
Is that a game that, like, for me, that would be like if I were a Gamecock fan, that's just a game that I always remembered. But is that the one game where you would that has just stuck out for you, where it's like, wow, you just kind of put your chest out a little bit? Is that the one big play?
Well, I don't know about Cale. I mean, Cale's been a Gamecock fan since he was born. I mean, for me, it sticks out because it was my first like Gamecock game, living in Columbia, being a student, you know, and so it was kind of like my first real exposure. I mean, I said before, I started following them a little bit my senior year in high school when I thought about going there, but this is '92, and of course there was no, watch ESPN app where you can watch every game, and so the Gamecocks were actually on national TV back then. I remember watching the Florida game where they lost at Florida, and I think it was on some like channel up in New York I could get, but that was it. So for me, that game there against Brendan Bennett was the first actual game as a Gamecock. So it sticks out for me as being the first one. I'm not sure it would stick out if I, say if I've been a fan my whole life, but it's got to be up there too.
Football only though, Mike. Is that your favorite play?
My favorite play, football only. My favorite play. I don't. Oh man.
You don't have many because you're a shithole, but I mean, that has to be one that you actually.
I kind of like the. I don't know. My favorite play.
All right. Well, think about it. We'll ask Cale. Cale, that's your favorite? Is that one of your favorite Gamecock plays?
Yeah, that's got to rank up there somewhere. But I mean, that wasn't really a great team, and they didn't really win a game over a great Georgia team. So, one of my favorite plays in Gamecock history. I don't know if you'll remember this one or not. In the 1984 season, when South Carolina, when we started 9-0, when we were 8-0, I think. Yeah, 8-0, and we took on Florida State at home. We were ranked like number 6 or something, and the game was on ABC, the regional thing, the regional ABC, which you didn't get many games like that then. Florida State was ranked like number 9, and they had, all the tradition and that, and I think they were actually favored over us. We went out there and just were totally kicking their ass. I think we were beating them like 21-7 at halftime. Second half opens up. We get the opening kickoff. Raynard Brown takes the ball at the 1 yard line, and he catches the second half kickoff, and his knee is in the ground or like this, and he took that sumbitch back for a damn touchdown. And Bobby Bowden standing over on the sidelines like this, just looking like, what the hell? And they showed this replay over and over and over. Does he have some grass stain down there? No, Raynard Brown at 99 yards, touchdown. We were up on him like 38-7 and ended up winning the game like 38-20. We're 9-0, ranked number 2, and then everybody knows what happened after that. But that was one of the most exciting games I think I ever seen in person, I will say.
Well, growing up as a Clemson fan, I mean, there were several plays that kind of stuck in my head a little bit, but it all. I mean, I was alive when we won the national title in '81, but also think that the play where Hunter Renfrow catches the touchdown, I'll remember for the rest of my life. I think that's just one of the greatest plays ever. So anyway,
you know what I always remember in Clemson football, and this is one that just stands out. It's just a weird one that stands out from back in the 80s. You remember, I think it was maybe 1984 or 85.
right.
And when Clemson played Maryland at home, and Maryland came, they did something. I can't remember. They were holding or something, but they scored a touchdown with just a few seconds left to go in that game, and they won the game. And in between that, the time after they scored that touchdown until Maryland kicked the ball off, and Danny Ford came out on the field. He cussed the referees out. I can't remember. He said he grabbed one of them. He said, "Let me tell you something, you son of a bitch." He said, "You done missed a call like that last week over there." And he cussed this son of a bitch out. And they're walking off the field, and everybody starts chanting, "Danny, Danny." But there's the whole stadium chanting, "Danny, Danny." I think he had to sit up in the press box like the next year for the game against Maryland or something like that. Crazy shit. As punishment for cussing out the official on national television, and they had the damn mics on. That was some good shit.
That was some good shit. I remember that. That's funny. I want to move on a little bit here. We'll talk some hoops in a minute, but there's somebody. Johnny says, "Do y'all think Cam Newton will shine in Joe Brady's offense?" Well, this week we found out that the Panthers are going to try to trade him, but Cam Newton had probably the worst week ever. That he found out that they're going to try to trade him by March. And then on the same day, it comes out that he basically had 2 women pregnant at the same time, which, wow, what a gonk show Cam Newton has turned into. Then today it was announced that he won the, I think I seen it in the, at the end of the Chiefs game where he won the Walter Man of the Year. But it's yeah, you were the man. You were, you were scrogging with everybody and got everybody pregnant. That's what you were doing. And now you're going to trade you. Is that the worst ever when you think about it? Because you could have the Walter Payton Man of the Year that has more baby mamas than anything getting traded. That is the weirdest shit ever. And all in 1 week.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's pretty clear from David Tepper's press conference there that the Panthers are going to go into rebuild mode, because he kind of mentioned the fact that, there may be some hard times coming up. So it makes no sense to keep Cam Newton, and even for Cam Newton's sake, he's got, his time is kind of coming to an end in football-wise. He's getting older. Why would you want to spend that time on a rebuilding team? So if I was him, go somewhere that needs a quarterback that's kind of you're a piece away, and maybe you can get one more chance at a Super Bowl. But the Panthers are in rebuild mode. I think they'll be good. I like the owner. I'm not a Panthers fan, unlike my man Brandon Kuhn, but I like the owner. I like Matt Rule. I think he's kind of that builder of the programs in college. I think he'll do the same thing in the NFL. And I think the Panthers will be good for a long time to come once they get the rebuild done here next 2 or 3 years.
Well, Kel, you're a Panthers fan, right? Sort of.
Yeah, I mean, this has got to be a dream job for Matt Rule, because he's took over some shit holes in his college coaching days. So, like I said, I already told you I like him. I mean, I think that he's going to do really good things there. They're in rebuild mode, man. They're going to go to rebuild mode. They're like the Atlanta Braves from 3 years ago. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's scrap it down and rebuild it. Cam Newton's he needs to go. You remember when we went to the Super Bowl and he was scoring touchdowns and running through there, and he was giving all these damn footballs away to kids, and now he's just, God dang, what the hell? I expect to see him like a damn Dennis Rodman show up in a fucking wedding dress or some shit. Just totally, just the fame, the money, all this just goes to people's heads, man.
I think instead of going to talk to Kim Jong-un or Il, he's going to be up with the Ayatollah next. He'll be over there talking to the Ayatollah, and that big Cam Newton standing there in one of his dumbass outfits, getting a picture with the Ayatollah, telling us, "You really don't know how these people are in Iran. They're pretty good people." Would anybody be shocked at that? I wouldn't.
No,
I would not be shocked at all if something stupid like that happened to Cam Newton. I mean, he's already got the you know, what, the 7 lives type thing. That's what he's trying to go with now. I don't know. Anyway, let's move to basketball real quick. South Carolina picked up a win over Texas A&M. I'm a fan of Frank Martin. I like Cousinard. I think he's playing well. Mike Kotsar, I think, is one of the most underrated big men in the SEC. But I do think there's a section of the fan base that's not really happy, including the Comrade as of last week, but he changed his tune quickly there. But I don't know if they're going to make the tournament or not. I don't know. But, Cale, what do you think of the Gamecock basketball team? You think they're worth a shit?
Yeah. I mean, I think they are. I mean, they could very easily be, 3-1 right now in conference play. I mean, they lost a 1-point game, for God's sake, to the fucking Voltards last weekend. But, I mean, the Stetson loss is like, what the hell? But I think they've got a talented team, sloppy at times, but can they make the tournament? Yeah, that all depends. It depends. We got to win those SEC games. We got to pull out the close ones. We got to win every game that we should win. These dumb losses could come back to bite us in the ass in the end of there, though. Of course, we've knocked off two top 10 teams. So,
yeah. Mike, who do you play next?
Play Auburn next.
That's right.
Which is big.
Auburn. Well, Auburn's looked kind of shitty here lately, though. But
yeah, and the net rankings came out, or the new ones came out today. We're 99th in net rankings. We're up. We're like 114, I believe.
We're 126.
Okay.
A week ago today.
Okay, so I know we're I think we're 114 after the one the victory over Kentucky, maybe. But 99 now. Auburn's 20th. We're 11th in the SEC in net rankings. Just kind of give you an idea of where we are, but listen, if Lawson can start to play like he played last year, which isn't a stretch, I mean, you'd think he'd be able to play like he did last year, then they can beat anyone in their schedule. I mean, they can beat everyone in their schedule. The question is, will he? I think it's kind of a weird case right now. According to people I talked to who are pretty close to the program, AJ is very much obsessed with the NBA mock draft and where he is and where he's not, and he's been, just kind of inside his head a little bit. And to me, he looks like he doesn't care, but everyone's a little bit different, I guess. And maybe he reacts to pressure or stress or anxiety by kind of shutting down, but he does not look like himself. And so I'm not sure if that can change, but if he can kind of get out of that mindset and not worry about that, then maybe things turn around. But we're going to need him. The Gamecocks can't get to the tournament without A.J. Lawson being A.J. Lawson. Cousinard is great, but he needs help. Bolden can be good. He was good the other day. But they're not going to go anywhere unless A.J. Lawson starts to play like A.J. Lawson. If he does that, then all of a sudden they're dangerous and they can make a run. But they have very little room for error right now. And beating Auburn Wednesday is going to be a kind of a must-win, I think.
That's going to be a tall order.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall order, but I think in order to make the tournament, I think they got to beat them because the schedule gets easier from this point on, which is a good thing for record rise, but it's a bad thing for your resume, And so
that Stetson loss really screwed you.
Yeah, so
if you pick up that game, then you can.
So you need another resume game, and to beat Auburn would be another resume game for you.
In all fairness, Kentucky lost to fucking Evansville. You think that's gonna hurt them?
Yeah, but Kentucky is their record. I mean, they've had 3 losses on the season, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're
okay. Well, all right.
I'm just saying that that would
We've also got Boston University, Northern Iowa losses too. That's their thing too. That it's not just Stetson. If it was just Stetson,
Northern Iowa is a Midwestern
they're not
basketball
above
average team.
Yeah, they're
not horrible.
They play, whatever, I can't remember the name of the conference they play in, but they're
speaking of the Midwestern of the teams in the Midwest, Rob, did you see who knocked off number 4 Butler on Saturday? The Blue
Who was it?
Demons
from DePaul.
Blue Demons. That's where it's a destination job.
That's the next T-shirt I'm getting.
Destination job right there.
Blue Demon shirt. I tell you what, I'll make a friendly wager with you, Cale Hall. If your Gamecocks make the NCAA tournament, I will buy you a DePaul shirt.
Here we go.
Okay, great.
Fair enough. Moving on to Clemson now. Clemson lost to NC State. This Clemson team is a team that is interesting to watch because of the way that they play, but they also can go stretches where they can't fucking score. I mean, they can't do it. It's terrible. I don't know what the hell they can't shoot free throws. I mean, I don't even know what the numbers were, but just terrible. Terrible across the board when it comes to just small things. Boxing out, shooting free throws. Tevin Mack, you know what? I've agreed with the comrades so much tonight, I might as well agree with him here too. There's a reason Frank Martin didn't want Tevin Mack, because Tevin Mack is an asshole. He will not play defense, and unless his shot is falling, he just doesn't care. He really and truthfully just doesn't care. The Clemson team is 9-8, though. They are currently ranked 75th in the net rankings, 10th in the ACC. I think the ACC will get 8 teams in. Clemson does have to play Syracuse. They got Florida State again, which Florida State will kill them, by the way. But as far as all that goes, they've got Wake Forest twice. Wake Forest is not very good. I think they've got Georgia Tech twice. So they can beef up the wins on their schedule, but I think they've got to be playing on Saturday in the ACC tournament if they're going to make the big dance.
Wake Forest is a program that has really fallen off the grid over the years, huh?
Ever since Dave Odom left.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean they used to be. That was one of the top 4 teams or so in the ACC. And won the thing when Tim Duncan was there.
Randolph Childress. I used to love Randolph Childress. I know Tim Duncan was starting that team, but Randolph Childress was so good. I used to love watching him play.
I remember Tyrone Muggsy Bogues back in the day too.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but I don't think that they're going to get any better. Have you seen anything on this team, either of you, that makes you think they're going to make the tournament? Because I'm not feeling it. I know that they had their run through Tobacco Road, but North Carolina, by the way, all that cheating for all those years, maybe it's finally coming back to get them. But I'm glad Clemson broke the streak to them this year, which is, by the way, if you're a Clemson fan and you're buying one of those T-shirts that says undefeated in Chapel Hill since 2019, you are part of the problem.
That was the equivalent of beating. I mean, they're terrible. That was the equivalent of beating like a bad Virginia Tech team. They're making too much. They're making too much of that. They're making too much of the name. You beat a name and you beat a streak, and the team you beat was shit. And that Duke win was just. I mean, teams like Duke are all those teams that win, 28, 30 games a season. They have one where they just step on their dick, and that was one where they just stepped on their dick. It doesn't make you good.
So let me make sure I understand. It was nothing we did, right, Cale?
It was nothing you did. It was nothing you did. It's what they didn't do.
By the way, Lewis Bolin reminds me on Facebook here about Clemson snapping the losing streak to Duke in women's hoops. So they won 62-58 today at Little John Coliseum. the first time since the 96-97 season that Clemson men and women's basketball team beat Duke inside Little John. So apparently you don't want to bring that Duke Blue Devil shit into Little John. Just saying. Clemson is 7-11 on the season. I do like their coach, Amanda Butler. I think she's great. And I like she bought some shooters in this year. Kendall Spray is like a world-class three-point shooter. So congratulations to her.
Okay, Jim, let's talk about something.
Look at Kale's over there listening to something over there. But anyway.
Sorry.
That's all right. Final thing this evening before we get out of here. I want to talk a minute about the baseball scandal because it's one of those things where you hear all the stuff the Astros did, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but what do you think the punishment should be on this? Because we're at the point now where we know the Astros screwed up. We know the Red Sox probably screwed up. But my thing is that what can you possibly do? Dock draft picks? Find them something?
Well, I mean, did, yeah.
You can't take down banners. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the punishment's already over. They already went ahead and fined them $5 million, which is nothing. But
they haven't done anything to the Red Sox yet.
Well, they're still investigating the Red Sox. So 4 draft picks and Core is gone. Or no, I'm sorry, but their manager's gone for a year. The Red Sox, they'll probably get the same. I mean, JD Martinez today came out and said that the Red Sox didn't do anything wrong, and the investigation will prove that. We'll see. I think the Red Sox situation will be a little bit different, not because Alex Cora found religion in Boston, but because I think it's harder to use technology and cheat in Fenway Park because of how small it is. Just in terms of the postseason, for example, the Red Sox couldn't use that cheat room in the playoffs because MLB needed that room for some of their officials. And so I think from what I heard, the Red Sox are kind of doing the video thing and then relaying it, like that. So they'll get punished. But the one thing I want to bring up, which drives me nuts, is everybody now who is trying to use this scandal to get Pete Rose back in baseball. Okay, couple things. Number one, I am a huge Pete Rose fan. Okay, I used to go to his games as a kid when he played for the Phillies because my aunt lived in New Jersey, right across the border there, of Pennsylvania. So I'm a big Pete Rose fan. 2 things. What Pete Rose did, okay, is much worse than the sign stealing. Okay, because you can't have people gambling on games they're involved with. And I know you're going to say, oh, he gambled on his team to win. Yes, but he didn't gamble every night. Some nights he didn't gamble on the Reds. Okay, that's kind of a problem. You were managing the team. And secondly, he was not good at gambling on football. You get to a situation where all of a sudden now someone can come to you, hey, you're in debt all this money, go ahead and throw the game. See, you can't have that. Secondly, it's written that if you gamble on baseball while you're playing or managing, you're banned for life, okay? This is not like news to Pete Rose. And Bart Giamatti was a huge Pete Rose fan. He did not want to ban him for life. He tried to do a little loophole and not ban him for life. He told Pete Rose, I will give you a 10-year suspension. All you have to do is to admit you're guilty, say you're sorry, and try to help others. And Pete Rose said, no, I'm not going to admit to it. Giamatti goes, okay, I'll give you a 7-year deal. Pete Rose said no. Pete Rose goes, give me a lifetime ban where I can appeal next year and I don't have to admit guilt. Okay? That's what Pete Rose decided to do. Right. And then Bart Giamatti died, okay? And with that, when he died, Pete Rose was screwed because the next commissioner said, no, we're sticking to the rule that you're banned for life. So Pete Rose could be back in baseball right now. So don't pull that. The Astros, what they're doing is wrong. Okay, right. They have admitted that they're I mean, they've cooperated. The people in there now, they're acting like idiots right now in the press. So it's a different thing. This is more on the lines of steroids, trying to get an edge, okay, in your play. And they should be punished. and they are as an organization punished wise. The players aren't being punished.
I have a stat I want to end the show with. So this is something that's interesting, and it's a former Brave stat. I don't know if you heard this or not, Cale. The year the Astros won the world title, where Brian McCann was their catcher, in the postseason he hit 300 at home, and he hit .0